আরে আমরা সরাই ওরা ওরা সরাই চেয়ারগুলো দিয়েছে বলে দিয়েছি চারটে দাম
I am not afraid of an army of lions led by a sheep. I am afraid of an army of sheep led by a lion. We would like to begin with this great quotation of Alexander III, commonly known as Alexander the Great. It is often said, history is always written by the winners. Alexander the Great has also been widely considered one of the most successful military commanders. He was a king of ancient Greek kingdom of Macedon and a member of the Argead dynasty. Born in 356 BC, he spent most of his ruling years on an unprecedented military campaign through Asia and Northeast Africa, and he created one of the longest empires of the ancient world by the age of 30. Alexander endeavored to reach the ends of the world and the great outer sea. Soon the young king understood in order to continue his march across the India, he had to defeat the Pauravas king Porus, who was generally regarded as a noble king of India. Although in the Battle of the Hyder Pass in 326 BC, Alexander defeated Porus, he was impressed by Porus' bravery and made him an ally. Alexander showed his greatness when he not only reinstated Porus as a satrap of his own kingdom, but also granted his dominion over the lands to the southeast. Our play attempts to emphasize that glory of King Alexander the Great through the Battle of Hyder Pass. We have tried to put our sincere effort in order to represent on stage then Greek as well as Indian culture, their dresses, their ways of greeting, the king's locations, music, and so on. Today we are going to show a glorious part of the life of the great Alexander. We will show how this king attacked India and became amazed by the bravery of Indian King Porus. So, here we present Alexander the Great. Now we are going to show the King Porus is sitting in his court with his ministers. Now the messenger of Alexander appears and meets with the soldier at the entrance.
Stop! Who are you?
messenger
Long live King Porus.
What is the matter?
A messenger has arrived, sir.
Minister? Go and check what is the matter.
Come with me. Who are you?
I am the messenger of the great Alexander. I have brought message for King Porus.
Long live King Porus. The messenger of Alexander wants to meet you.
Bring the messenger to the court.
Come with me.
I am the messenger of Alexander the Great.
I have brought message for King Porus. Can you join our army? Also, our king wants to meet you.
Tell Alexander who you will meet, but only on the battleground.
Attack! Messenger returns. The king Porus sits on the throne along with his ministers.
Minister, what is your view?
See, Alexander is coming from Indus River. He has army of 30,000 soldiers. Once he crosses Takshila, we must
Please,
put our army at
Please
this
close the door.
location.
Please.
In this way, we can counter-attack. But before that, he has to cross Takshila.
Are we ready to fight?
Yes, we are. But we can wait till Alexander crosses Takshila.
Now, prepare our army!
Yes, Your Majesty!
Now we are going to show in the camp of Alexander the Great, Alexander is practicing showed with his commander-in-chief.
তো ছিল ভলেন্টিয়ার জানে ছোট না মাথার এটা 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 এই পেয়েছি আমি বললাম ম্যাডামের কাজ ওখানে কি করে কি যায় আমি বললাম ম্যাম ম্যামের এখানে রাখতে এখানে রাখিনি ম্যাম তুই আমার একটু যাবি এখন চলে যা এমনি চলে যাই যে আরে ওটা কোথায় গেল ম্যামের রিমোটটা এই চলে যা কি করছিস কি আস্তে আস্তে
Now we represent the camp of Alexander the Great.
Position! Fight! Stop!
Now the messenger of Alexander the Great arrives.
Stop! Long live King Alexander! Messenger has succumbed. Let the messenger in! Come with me.
Long live the great Alexander.
So, what is the reply from King Porus?
He has refused the proposal and he wants to fight till the end.
Is it so? Well, this is bad for King Porus. Very, very bad. We will fight with King Porus and destroy him. So, what is our next plan?
We should send the message to the king, Ami and Takshila.
Well, messenger,
Yes, Your Majesty.
you know what to do?
Yes, Your Majesty. I have to go to Taxila with this message.
Then carry the message to Takshila immediately.
Okay, Your Majesty.
Move our army! Okay, Your Majesty!
After hearing that Alexander the Great invited King Porus to join his army, King Porus was feeling insulted. But with that feeling, there was also fear. He knew how he behaved with Alexander's messenger. That will make Alexander angry too. And that anger can devastate King Porus' dynasty in India. He was tensed. But there was something more to fear.
Long live King Porus.
Tell me, what is the news?
Sir, Ambi of Takshila has cheated our country. He has joined hands with Alexander.
Now, what is our plan?
Alexander is making bases at Hydaspes River. I think we should move there.
As long as I am alive, nobody can enter our country. Move our army to the river.
Okay, Your Majesty.
Now, Alexander the Great is riding on horse on one side of Hydaspes River, and Porus is standing on elephant. Both are waiting with their army. Both the king proceed towards themselves and starts to talk.
We give you the last chance to save your life. Join our army. You can never win over India. You can go back and save your life. You have to pay for this arrogance, King Porus. Let us see who pays.
Alexander's army starts working on their plan. They march both upstream and downstream of the river, perhaps not knowing exactly what to do. Porus' army starts doing the same thing. After some time, Porus realized that it is hopeless to follow Alexander's army. So, they set up camps on different locations. While Hyderabad's river is on full force due to the monsoon, it is just unthinkable that Alexander's army would even dare to cross the river. But they do the impossible thing. Under the dark night, they quietly cross the river and attack Porus' army. And the war of Hyderabad starts. Alexander first attacked Porus. At a time, Alexander falls and his army rushes to protect him. He becomes unconscious. But after some time, the war goes again. It is a rainy day, and the rainy day makes Porus' chariot army ineffective. On the muddy ground, his specialized archers are ineffective as well. By the end of the day, Porus loses 3/4 of his army, and the biggest loss of Alexander's army in a single day of war. Alexander and Porus meet near the battleground. Eventually, Alexander sends another message to meet the king Porus. Porus has not much choice, so he accepts the invitation. It was raining heavily. Alexander and Porus are facing to each other.
See, who is here? So, King Porus, at last you have to come. Say, how should I treat you? Just only a king, another warrior, just like a king treats another king. will give you the path of Takshila.
Our play shows the greatness of King Alexander and the courage of King Porus. It shows how Alexander appreciated the bravery of King Porus. The greatness of Alexander leaded him to do so. Alexander will always be reminded for his greatness and the King Porus for his courage. Now we represent the Alexander, Debaroti, Puru, Kea, Commander-in-Chief, Rima, Suparna, and Debaroti. Messenger of Alexander, Onita, and the Minister of Puru, Shathi, and the soldier is Lokhi. So here we are the SODEPUR R&T batch.